Hey everyone, I'm Lou Perez, your host of the Builder Upper Show, a podcast where we talk about everything in construction and trades. Now let's get into it. I would like to welcome our guest, Dr. Bradley King, COO of Horseshoe Construction. Hey Bradley, how you doing today?
Good, Lou. Thank you.
It's funny, not a lot of people get to see all the technical issues that could happen with the podcast, but we're getting 90 degrees here in Wisconsin. So we had to restart this podcast a couple times just to make sure that the technical issues were gone, but it looks like we're good to go. So I'm glad that you're here, Bradley. Thank you so much for being a guest. And yes, everybody, you did hear it right. I did say Dr. Bradley King. So, hey, when did you get your doctorate, Bradley?
Crazy enough, I finished it a little late in life. Didn't go through that normal progression that we kind of tell kids maybe to go through a little bit. So I finished my doctorate when I turned 50. So
wow,
it's been a few years, and so it was exciting. Don't know how much I actually use it at times, but it gave me enough to kind of streamline things a little bit better.
I would throw that around everywhere I went. That's great. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. What an amazing milestone. And, you know, I'm really glad that you're a guest here. We're hearing a lot about what you're doing on the innovation side and what you're doing in the construction industry. And I just want everybody to learn about you. And if you don't mind, we could start right from the beginning. When did you get into construction?
Yeah, so I have it's kind of a funny story that I tell people, and so I got out of high school real young and joined the military. Came from a military family. Both my mother and father were military at the time. Both in the Navy. My dad was 37-year public service with the Army, Navy, and from Vietnam on, and so. Wow. I was destined to be there. My brother went to the service. I went to the service. So it was a family affair. When I got out of the service, I went back to kind of my hometown and got back involved in the area. I met a young lady whose father did not like me very much, and told me one day that if I was going to date his daughter, that I was going to end up in college. And so packed me up, drove me to the registrar's office, and I started out in college. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be an architect. I started out at Missouri Western State College at the time in St. Joseph, Missouri, and started out there. Found out that I'm not very good at the creativity side that's necessary for architecture. So I was good in math, science, and I transferred over into engineering. Coincidentally, I ended up breaking up with the girl, but I stayed in college. And
nice.
I entered a construction engineering technology program at Missouri Western, and one of the professors there asked me to go to a conference in Seattle. And I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to do, but I was like, oh, it's a week out of school. I could use a break. And so I headed out and went off. And while I was there, all of my classmates at the time that went with us on the trip had resumes out on the table, and I did not, because for me it was a vacation. It wasn't really an industry I thought I wanted to be in or I was going to end up in. Gentleman come by the table and asked for my resume, and I said I didn't have it. Was honest with him. Said I'm out here to have a little fun for a week and get away from school. And he gave me his card and said, when you get back to St. Joseph, he said, send me your resume. I'd like to chat with you. And kind of the rest is history. I followed up on him when I got back. I worked part-time for the company that he was with while I was in college. And then I kind of just generally made steps in the industry from there. I pretty much dedicated my entire life to that industry, which at the time, we call it trenchless technology, but I was in the horizontal drilling side of that industry to start with. And through some companies I were with that were going through acquisitions, I had to make some moves and some changes, and I ended up kind of seeing what I call the world of trenchless in that process, from directional drilling to auger boring to pipe bursting to slip lining to CIPP. And so it really just became my world. So it was by chance I ended up there, trying to take a week away from school, and the rest is kind of history of where I'm at today.
That's incredible. I mean, you worked hard at it, and now it sounds like you're like a subject matter expert in the field, and you know everything about it. And now you're at Horseshoe Construction. Can you give me some background? So what is Horseshoe Construction?
Sure. So Horseshoe Construction was built and formed in 1992 by three brothers, James, Jesse, and John Holt. And so that company started as a trenchless company back in 1992, and has progressed into the later 90s. The city of Houston was going through a sanitary sewer consent decree to fix their sewer overflow issues they were having. There were only back then there were really only three players. Kinsel Industries was the kind of the first one in the business and in that area, and then there was Horseshoe and PM Construction. They were kind of the three people in the market there. And so as Horseshoe kind of progressed over time, I actually ended up in the organization in 2004. I had been with Kinsel Industries prior. They were acquired by In Situ Form Technologies, which is kind of the leader in the industry right now. And I left there in 2004, went to Horseshoe, stayed there for about 3 years, and then made another step in my career after that. But Horseshoe continued its path. And after a few tragedies, two of the brothers passed away in the course of the years. Middle brother passed away in 2007. John did, and then Jesse passed away in 2016, and James was the sole owner left to handle the business, and asked me to come back and help with the business, and so I jumped back in. So over the course of Horseshoe, it was primarily a pipe bursting and slip lining company. Throughout, I'd say from about 2016 on, and relationships that had been built with other companies, and over the years, we started getting into some different technologies, and so we started looking at manhole rehabilitation. We looked at CIPP, and we ultimately stayed out of the CIPP market. We took a stab at it, wasn't really for us, and then we moved into manhole rehabilitation. And as things change with government cycles, politics, and different administrations, there's different, as everybody knows, there's different agendas. And so as agendas change with infrastructure, it kind of makes changes, at least for me, in decision making. So for years, there was a huge push for sanitary sewer overflow repairs. And so the EPA jumped in, and the Department of Justice started putting consent decrees. So what that did is effectively a lot of cities started using funding, all the funding they had to fix sanitary sewer overflows. I started seeing that we were band-aiding the water system, and we weren't attacking that. So Horseshoe then started to transition into, we need to start preparing for the water market, because at some point it's been put on the back burner, and we have to be prepared. And you always want to be the kind of the first to market in something, right? That's become a market leader. And so for us, that was kind of our vision to move to next. And so we kind of jumped in early to the water rehabilitation market. And that has started to progressively increase, as we expected it would, as water starts to fail. From there, we, because of the experience we had in wastewater and water, and then with the experience we had in pipe bursting and slip lining, and my background in directional drilling and CIPP, we decided that there was kind of a spot for us to maybe start considering design build work. And so that's kind of been the latest push for us, is trying to kind of move more to meeting with municipalities and start pushing the design build model on infrastructure within municipalities. It's not widely done in the United States. That's a big commercial, and think about hospitals, and you think about schools and things like that are built under design build. Most people don't see infrastructure done that way, and so we see the benefit of it. And so that's kind of our big push. And then with some AI technology and the way AI's come along, we're starting to adapt a little bit to that to help us, and again, stay ahead of the market and do some things to be market leaders.
That's great. So, and I mean, it sounds like it's going to revamp the infrastructure once you get into the municipalities and start working on those things. And just for like for the listeners that aren't familiar, could you explain to them what is CIPP? What is slip lining? You know, of course, water rehabilitation is pretty obvious, but just to kind of give like an overview of, you know, what is that nitty gritty that you guys are doing for the water systems?
Sure. So first technology we started with was pipe bursting, and we still continue that today. So pipe bursting, just in kind of layman's terms, is we are replacing the pipe in situ through a bursting process. And there's two methods. One is a static and one's a pneumatic method. We use both. The pneumatic method pulls a pneumatic hammer, was what we call it. It's got a striker on the inside, a piston. As it advances, it's got an expander. The air forces that were put into it create that percussive force on the striker. And as it's thumping along, it's bursting the old clay tile pipe or fracturable pipe into the existing soil, pulling a new pipe in behind it. So you get that, quote, less trench, right? Trenchless type of technology. And we dig the services up and reconnect those. In the static burst method, it's strictly what it means. It's static. It is a dead pull, expands the pipe into the ground there. So there's no need for an air compressor. The equipment's a little bit more expensive than that. But the force, the pulling forces applied to it are much greater. And so we use that method, and that's a method we use on the water side because, as you can imagine, putting a water line in, it has to be tested. You don't want any bacteria in it. Running an air hose through the inside of the pipe would create contamination. And so static bursting is the method for that. So that would be the pipe bursting technology. Slip lining is fairly simple. It's putting a new pipe inside of an existing pipe that's smaller diameter. So you're just pulling it in place. I say pretty much everybody could do it, but there's some things you learn over the years that make you pretty efficient at it. So while everybody can get into it, we like to think that we're really efficient at what we do. And so we try to keep people out that way, of course. And then with CIPP, of course, I told you we got into that market. We have gotten out of that market rather quickly. It was we were kind of stepped into it, did 3 little small projects and said, this is not for us. There are people like In Situ Form that are leaders in that industry. We can just sub that work. So, but CIPP in general is running a felt tube inside of an existing sewer line that's impregnated with a resin that through steam or hot water or even ambient air temperature cures and forms kind of a pipe that's cured to the existing pipe. Those are done through, a lot of times they can go in on the sewer, they'll do internal reconnect. So they'll go in and with a robot and they will drill out the service connections so they can use the existing service. Sometimes they'll go back in and put saddles on the outside of those. And then if anybody's not familiar with directional drilling is for new installation. It is a surface mounted machine that runs a rod, a steerable, controllable rod underground that's tracked through radio and magnetic technology. And then pops out, whether it's under a road, you go under a creek, under nice landscape, whatever you want to go under. Come out the other end, we put a hole opener, a reamer to it, expand the hole diameter from the pilot hole to the reamed hole, and pull in a new pipe in place. And so those are the kind of the technologies in our realm that we work with on a continuous basis.
So do you work commercial, residential? Like, would somebody be able to call you if they're having issues, or maybe they have an older home where, you know, the piping is, you know, in the backyard, maybe it's not working correctly or anything like that? Would they be able to call you to help them fix it?
So actually we are strictly municipal and federal.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that's good.
We stay from the property line to the property line.
Okay.
On the city side. So we do no residential, we do no commercial.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll pick up good relationships we have with some contractors. If we want to be a sub, we'll pick up some site development type stuff where we go lay some brand new water line or sewer line. But for the most, everything we do is municipal or federal water and sewer projects.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. You sound super knowledgeable on the topic. The way that you explained everything, it was like a doctor. You knew exactly what was listed and how it needed to be scripted out. So I appreciate that. Now, are you part of some associations with what you all do, where you're helping other members or anything like that with sharing this type of knowledge?
So personally, I am. I sit on the board for the South Central chapter of the North American Society of Trenchless Technology, which is the largest trenchless technology organization. Pretty much we're worldwide. We've got an international society as well. So I sit on the South Central chapter board. I'm also one of the pipe bursting trainers for our virtual and in-person pipe bursting training schools that we do. And so that organization is a great organization. There are others out there that are great too. I don't want to deter anybody from the others. There are some really good organizations out there. But that's the one that I work with and that we as a company are a member of, to help educate others into the industry, and really just to teach best practices, right? It's the things that people don't realize, that one mistake by any contractor in the country, in our industry, can be a black eye on the technology itself. So trying to get people to follow best practices is extremely critical to advance the trenchless technology market itself.
And you mentioned previously, you did name drop, so I have to call you out for it. You said AI. So how are you guys utilizing AI?
Yeah, so I'm starting to give up trade secrets. No, so it's kind of weird because at my age, I'm probably, I'm in almost my mid 50s now, and so you don't think of my generation being advanced in technology. And that's evident amongst the rest of our organization, the older ones of our organization. But no, but in all seriousness, we are working really hard right now with some AI technology to look at contract specifications. What I found is that we can stay in a city and do multiple projects for one city. There are cities out there, and I don't want to name them, but there are cities out there that we have been in for 13, 15, 16 years straight. They continue to have project after project every year. We're generally, once we get a foot in, we're pretty much in. We can stay extremely competitive. But what we have found through that is that, you get a 500, 600 page spec book and you get complacent. And things go pretty much the same for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then all of a sudden, city changes a spec. You didn't know it, but you didn't really dig deep into the spec book. So the one thing about AI technology and through machine learning is that they can learn the spec books really well. And so we're able to go in, upload a bunch of specifications, and put in a new spec on a job we're bidding, and allow that technology to tell us and flag, hey, this is different than anything you've seen before. This is different than anything you've seen. And those generally 95% of the time are very material changes that have cost associated to them, and not catching them. I mean, there's some that I've seen so far that could have dropped our margin 5 to 6 points.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So pretty substantial. So the technology itself kind of pays for itself with a few jobs and capturing that. And then, so you look at that from a specification standpoint, using AI technology for material takeoffs, plan takeoff of plans. The one thing that I will say about AI that people have to be careful about, while I say that, we're utilizing this, is you still have to double check it. AI is not perfect. It takes a lot of machine learning and learning we see the data center push. I'm kind of a pro data center guy right now, and I'm probably not the most liked guy in my state or my community. But because of that, I see the use for the technology. But a lot of the reason for data centers is the continuous machine learning that it takes to pump data in so that it can continue to learn, just as we did growing up, and we continue to learn. That's what we're teaching that to do. So plan takeoffs, we utilize it for plan takeoffs to look and see if the quantities match the quantities in the bid form, so that we can bring that to the attention of the engineer, so that we're not in a position that one of our competitors can go unbalance a bid on us and win a job, and that was unexpected. So using that, and then I'm also working right now on creating the technology for kind of what I call asset management and kind of deterioration prevention, right? So as city water lines and sewer starts to deteriorate, I'm trying to use AI to assess existing water infrastructure, so that we're able to go in and make a recommendation to a city from a design build standpoint to say, these are the critical lines that look to be ready to fail in a certain period of time, whether that because of age of the line, existing breaks that have already been on the line, pipe material, soil conditions. There's so much that we're able to put into that to tell us what the probability of failure is going to be, and kind of around what time frame that's going to occur. So we can repair those systems and those lines before they get to that failure mode.
So the municipalities are really going to need you. Anybody that's expanding or having data centers put in, I mean, they're going to want to really listen to what you guys have to offer to make sure that everything's set up and ready to go. Is that basically what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the data centers to us, probably from our business, I think they're important because we're trying to machine learn.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they necessarily directly help us with the municipalities, but indirectly because of the technology. And I just recently, last week, I spoke about this. I testified at our state capitol in front of a natural resources committee about this, because the challenge right now is that there's a lot of water system failures.
Yeah.
And water system failures in the United States, we're roughly right now, I think the estimate is about almost 2.5 trillion gallons of water is lost every year to leaking pipelines, leaking water lines, leaking valves, deteriorated pipe. And so when we talk about a natural resource that's so critical to life, right? Water is a necessity. The society ceases to exist without it. So we can live without electricity. There are communities that do that now. You can live off the grid, and you don't need a sanitary sewer system, and you don't need power, and you don't need cable TV, but you have to have water. Water is essential. And so, in the state of Texas, we lose about 186 billion gallons of water every year to failing infrastructure. And so for me, the root of the problem is getting into the cities and trying to help them assess their systems within the budgets that they have. And budget constraints are a problem. That's not just a Texas thing or my community in Bryan, College Station. That's a national issue. So looking at budgets and what budget constraints they have. And that's why I think the technology is so important, is because we're able to isolate and look at what is most critical right now. And we're able to apply the city budgets to that. If they have that information for us, apply some cost parameters and say, this is what we can attack that will fix leaking lines and prevent future failures. And so I think that, I say this all the time, is we've got to find a way to coexist with data centers and AI technology. I'm not saying that power is not a problem and that water is not a problem with AI data centers, because we all hear the news and we know that water is an issue. They use water, they use power, but we've got to find ways that we can coexist with them and that we can make this work so that we can fix our infrastructure. But the root of the problem isn't data centers. And I know I got off on a tangent here, but the root of the problem isn't the data centers. The root of the problem is we have failing infrastructure, that we're losing a lot of water that is absolutely critical to society.
Right. It doesn't even matter if it's the data centers or not. We're still losing. Did you say 2.5 trillion gallons? Like,
yes,
I'm trying to like if someone to picture like a lake or something like is there a comparison out there of like how much water that could even be like visually?
I know this. I know that the water, I can tell you this, the water loss, the 186 billion gallons, and I stated this in my committee testimony, the 186 billion gallons of water that's lost in Texas alone on an annual basis is enough water to feed the cities of Fort Worth, El Paso, Austin, and Houston all combined for a year.
For a year. Wow.
That's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water.
So when you start to think about the amount of water loss, I mean, you're right. It's not data centers. I mean, it could be golf courses. Golf courses use a lot of water. Yeah. I mean, you have. I like to play golf, and I like green greens, and I like green fairways. But I didn't realize until I started getting in depth to this that some of these golf courses use 1 million to 1.5 million gallons of water a day.
Wow,
that's a lot of water. So it's not just, it's water conservation in general, but fixing the infrastructure is absolutely critical. And I hope that at Horseshoe, I hope that we're doing something right. I hope that we're number one on the forefront of technology. I hope that I always try to tell people, we're a recipient of taxpayer money. I mean, everything we do is a municipal funded project, which is taxpayer funded. And so while we get onto, it happens all over the country. I'm sure it happens in your community, my community. We get onto leadership all the time for waste, right? Our cities waste money, we think, as much as we get onto them about being good stewards of taxpayer money, I have to be a good steward of taxpayer money. I'm a recipient of that. And we try to live by that at Horseshoe. We try to live by being a good steward. If we see something that is better for a project, we're going to bring that to the engineer's attention every single time. And we're going to make that recommendation that we think that this is the best way to attack this. And we think we can save you money. We've done it multiple times. I've got a few projects that we highlight all the time that we went in and we brought them a technology that was better for them, that accomplished better than what they wanted. And we saved them money in the process, and they were able to take that money and stretch the dollar further and get more work done for the same amount of money. And if we're able to continue to do that, and I hope that at Horseshoe we continue to be that way. I hope that we have been that way, that we're able to be good stewards of money, stretch the dollar as far as we can stretch it. We're a for-profit company, so we have to make money, but we're not greedy. We don't have to get rich and live in mansions. We just have to, we have people that in our company that we care about, their family. Our company is family to us. You're familiar with the size of our company, and I know everybody's name, and I know most of their kids and their wives, and that's important to us to do that. And I don't just have a responsibility for a company. I have a responsibility for the amount of employees that we have, and I have a responsibility to their families, and I have a responsibility to their extended families, that they get home safe, but that they're able to put food on the table. And the best way to do that is to continue to do work, to continue to do good work, so that cities want you back, and just keep following that process. I say being a good human being is part of the process at Horseshoe. We have to be good human beings.
Man, spoken like a true leader. That's amazing. So do you have any family that works at Horseshoe with you?
I do. So my daughter works with me, who's actually here with me today, because she's my technology. If I have a technology problem, she's going to fix that. So she's here today with me. But my daughter works for me. And then my business partner, his two sons work for the business. And we're a company that pretty much all of our supervisors and up have been with the company for 15 plus years. And so we barbecue together. Matter of fact, over the 4th of July, I'm going to the lake, and we're going to be at the lake with a couple of the other families that work for us. So that's how we operate. Sometimes it's to a detriment. It's hard to get on to the people that you love and you care about, that feel like family. But we all understand that nothing's personal; it's business, and we just handle it.
Do it all out of love. Oh, that's amazing. And is it's Aaliyah is your daughter? Is she listening right now?
She's on the other side of the screen right now.
Hey, Aaliyah, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
And she's actually, I told her, I was like, you can't be on camera today. You're in a hoodie that says Lumberfy.
Let's go.
No, so yeah, it said, you're in a hoodie. And she's like, but it says Lumberfy. And I was like,
oh, you got to show that off, Aaliyah. You got to jump in here, represent lumber, if you don't mind. That would be amazing.
Yeah, she
yes.
is.
Here I am.
Oh, there you go.
My favorite beloved hoodie. It is probably the comfiest hoodie I own. And I am super excited because we are going live next week officially. Time coming, but we are so excited. And that is the AI stuff that I like in our industry and I like to work with.
My team loves you, Aaliyah, and everything that you do. We really appreciate you. You're on the innovation side as well. So everything from the field all the way to the back office, you guys using AI to really move yourselves forward ahead of all the competition. You definitely set yourselves apart. So I appreciate that. Thanks for jumping in and saying hi to everybody.
So much.
Absolutely. So thank you for, really sharing the company culture. You just showcased it right there. It's amazing, Bradley. I mean, Horseshoe sounds incredible. What locations do you all work in? Is there any specific locations? Do you go outside the state? Is it mostly within Texas?
Actually, the vast majority of our work is outside of Texas.
Oh, wow.
There's a few reasons for that, but the competitive market in Texas is super competitive. And then just the labor resource market is a little bit different for us because of the way we work in federal projects. We've got some limitations that maybe our competition doesn't have from a labor resource. So we primarily work, Texas, of course, is our headquarters, home base, but we work Oklahoma, Kansas, around in Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, and we skip Mississippi and we jump over to Alabama. And that's kind of our key location. We're mobile enough that we have the ability to work anywhere. So we look at projects as far kind of north as South Dakota, North Dakota, up into your area, Wisconsin. We look, we're non-union, so we avoid union country. If the money was right and the business was right, we're all for wherever we got to go. But we pretty much stay in that 6 to 7 state concentrated area.
No, that's great. So they should be reaching out to you and talking to you about how they can be making themselves better, pretty much.
From the municipality side.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would love to, I would love to spend all of my time working with municipalities and trying to guide them through the process. Because, you think about how the traditional process works where a city puts an RFP out to an engineer, and the engineer and the city work together on what they want, and then they put it out to bid, and then now you're getting contractor input. And the problem is that sometimes there's not a lot of contractor input in between that first phase of that engineering RFP and designing a project. And so we would like to, at least at Horseshoe, we would like to be involved from the early stage of helping during the design process. Doesn't mean we're going to win the job. Sometimes it hurts us because we know too much information.
Well, could they pull you in to help them even build out the RFP? Because what if they don't even know what to ask in the RFP? Could you offer guidance? I mean, your knowledge and experience probably surpasses their own knowledge. So it's almost like, could they ask you for guidance and help?
Yeah, absolutely. I promote that all the time. Like just reach out to us and ask us questions. We're good people. I always say that, we have a good organization. We're full of good people. We care. We care about water. We care about sewer overflows. We care about that personally. And so I always feel like we are a good resource. We want to be there. We want to help. We want to help guide cities. We want to help guide engineering firms to at least think about our technology and things that we believe might be a good method of replacement or rehab. And from there, they still can make their own decisions. They still have information and data outside of what we know, and I understand that. And so I don't expect everything that we offer to be set in stone. This is gold. You need to do it this way. We understand there's way more information that's part of it, but understanding what is available out there and at what cost can help make those decisions. And then we definitely want to be a part of that if we can. And of course, that's why we started the design build kind of feature of our company. And through, we're a buy board vendor. We're a tips vendor, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with those piggybacking type of contracts, but it's a piggyback type setup. So cities can come to us and they can contract to work direct with us through a direct proposal because we've already bid through the buy board.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a nice feature. If cities want to utilize that, they have the ability to utilize that. And, of course, we love it because it gives us an advantage to be able to share some of that knowledge and that technology that we already have in-house. And if we don't have a technology, but there's a technology that's better, we're going to recommend that, and we're going to bring the right people in. We know them, and we're going to bring them in to help. So.
How do they find you? So like, how do they reach out to you? Do you guys have a website? I'm guessing is there a phone number, like email? How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah. So the best way to reach out is definitely, we have a website. It's hcitx.com. So you can go to the website. Our phone number's on there as well. Or you can reach out directly to me. And it's Brad at horseshoe-inc.com. So it's real easy. And on our phones on our website, and reach out to us, email us. We're infrastructure people. We live and breathe it every day.
Incredible. So it's hcitx.com.
That's correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Love that. And then
it's different. You can still get there through horseshoe-inc.com, but
okay.
We decided to take that domain, point it off to the other one because it's so much easier.
Oh yeah, you got to shorten it up as much as you can, right?
Tried to look for anything that was 2 letters, So
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So then, Bradley, before we, wrap up, I would just, so, we have a lot of next generation talent coming in that also watches the Builder Upper Show, just to kind of understand from a leadership perspective how your company culture is, and would this be a good opportunity to go after or maybe even work for you all? But do you have any advice for anybody that's looking to get into construction?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're getting into construction, I would say that construction doesn't reward the smartest person in the room nearly as often as it rewards the most dependable one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, show up early, work safe, ask questions, own your mistakes, and never stop learning. Because at the end of the day, if people know they can trust you, the promotions will come, and skills can be taught all day long. Character and work ethic are much harder to find. And I would tell people, if you're in the business, don't chase the paycheck. Chase becoming valuable to the organization. Learn every piece of equipment that you can. Understand why the work matters, the why. Treat coworkers with respect. Leave the project and the job that you're on better than what it was when you got there. And then just remember, 20 years from now, people aren't going to remember how fast you worked. They're going to always remember whether they could count on you.
Yes.
Like to say, your reputation is your resume, and you should protect it every single day.
That's like some of the best advice I've heard on here. That was great advice. Thank you so much, Bradley. And you know what? Since Aaliyah still listening?
She is.
Aaliyah, why don't you put a plug in, since you're the expert in the back office, folks. There's a lot of people that will jump in here on the back office side. Let them know on the innovation side, how did you, it might be a shameless plug, how did you come to the decision to use technology like lumber?
So a lot of it is I obviously am working for my dad. So I wasn't necessarily in this industry for any other reason other than I get to see my dad every day. And as I have grown and learned in the payroll side and HR and just being able to reach and connect with our employees, especially as they're traveling, how to just grow and get some of our guys ready to catch up because they've been with the company for 30 plus years. And I'm a bright, cheery 25-year-old showing up every day talking about the next best AI trend that is happening. And so I had one of the guys from Lumber give me a call, and most times sales calls as a gatekeeper of Horseshoe can be a little tough to get through. And I was convinced. I was like, hey, Matthew, set up a call. Let's see what you have. And I fell in love with immediately. I got to see how much it is growing every month, as well as just helping challenge us as contractors to grow and be a part of the innovation.
And I'll add, Lou. I mean, if people don't know about lumber itself, I'm kind of an old dog, right? So it's hard to change, right? Change is very difficult for people of my generation. And one of the things that stood out, I mean, what we were having payroll issues. This is just plain and simple. And at the same time, we had grown and trying to message our, I have group text. I still to this day have group text messages. I got 20 in this one, and I'm on an Android, so we can only get 20 max, right? And so, but I've got more than that I need in a group, and then I want to message the whole company. And we got safety set aside in another program, and we've got everything was scattered, and we couldn't message and we couldn't communicate. And that's the one thing. Aaliyah came to me and she's like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. There is a company out there. And I was skeptical. I mean, I was like, yeah, but we just know how to operate. And yeah, the text messaging, I'll just get Slack or something. And that was a nightmare.
It was itself. Discord.
Yeah, it was
Discord. That's funny.
Yeah. And that was not working. And so she just came to me and she's like, Brad, you've got to see this. And so she sat down and she showed me, and everything that you guys have to offer it's absolutely amazing. So construction oriented that it's exciting for us. I mean, I have bugged her for the last couple of months, pretty much. It's like every day, like, are we online this week? Are we online this week? Are we online? And we're so excited this week because we're online. Like, this is our first work week. And we're excited and getting people to get on the app and
company morale. If you want to talk about a company morale kind of change, our young supervisors that have been asking me probably since I came in, and they're like, heck yeah, this is going to be the one that changes it. And they've been waiting for this moment. And I've started transitioning, some of our younger people, because lumber is so cool, it can input and take AI to upload paper timesheets.
Yes.
So we are not going to cause a disruption for some of our more tenured employees. But as we're getting these young, innovative minds in here that are wanting to have like the usability of it, they have been blowing me up. And I've got one that's jealous of the other because one has it and they don't. And they're like, FaceTime me, show me how to use it. It's really cool. It's exciting. I'm pumped. I think our guys, the company morale they're like, this is so easy. Like, this makes my mornings, my evenings less. And I get to have more field time because I'm not filling out paperwork and, rubbing ink off of my hand.
Well, just like how you all are saving the water and helping municipalities, what you just said was, our overall goal is to help you move forward and move the company forward so that you can do more and just be everywhere. So I really appreciate the feedback. It means the world to me. I mean, that's awesome. That's so great. I'm so happy. thank you so much for choosing
partner.
lumber.
That's my next mission, is to start talking about our ERP.
Well, yeah, that's next.
That's my next target. We've already got calls set up. I've already sat through some calls.
Oh, well, congratulations. Bless your heart for your, going down that path. That's amazing. And
it's rocky and it's a lot of convincing, but I think it's worth it. And I think that when companies that are larger than us, or companies that look at us for advice or anything like that, that we're pouring into, them getting to see the technology we're using outside of just the field, that helps our office run, will be, I think, an amazing way to just grow as a community.
Being efficient.
Yeah.
Efficiency is everything, right? I mean, you learn that in every college class that you ever attend, probably. It's just being efficient and how to streamline things. And the efficiencies are where you're able to cut costs, stay competitive in a market. There's things that drive our costs at Horseshoe that make that we struggle to be competitive at times. So if we can find ways to be more competitive and drive efficiency, this is one of them. I'm super excited about that, to just free up some of the back office time that we're putting in, and allow them to do things that they haven't been able to do. And not that we ever want to, we like to hire people, but if it'll allow us to have more, we don't need to get rid of people. We just need to grow the rest of the business to fill the rest of the people's time as we get efficient with them. I think that's where a lot of businesses kind of go wrong, is they think, well, if I use technology, I have to get rid of somebody. No, don't use technology to get rid of somebody. Use technology to make them more efficient, to grow your business.
I could take you both on tour. The way that you speak it's exactly what everybody needs to hear. I think, Aaliyah, we'll have a follow-up podcast with you so that you can help those back office folks on that path towards the right technology that's going to help their companies grow. So you can hold me to that. We'll schedule something and then have you expand on that. And then we'll touch base. Of course, we'll do like another follow-up podcast in person in the next year. I'll come down to Texas. You guys show me around. I'll stop by Horseshoe Construction. You guys can show me what it's all about. But
it's the whole team that got us here to make it a big old trip, and get Matthew out there. Matthew was so jealous. I was in New York at Thanksgiving time, and I didn't let him know. I didn't grab dinner.
Yeah, you got to let them know.
And Samantha, and just the key people that made it happen, that were patient and understood what my needs were. It was really cool to just see how it's not just a custom software, it's custom relationships that you get to build with people that I appreciate the most.
And shout out to Samantha. She was so excited for this podcast. She's like, "Where can I come watch it?" And I'm like, "It's pre-recorded." She's like,
she has my personal number. And you could ask my dad, who's in the company. I get mad if my personal number makes it out. And Samantha, I might even find a funny reel every now and then and have to send it to her because it's funny.
I love that.
Having relationships and building that, and having people that are overseeing our thing that we can't live without in the office. You have to have HR, you have to have payroll. Somebody has to do it, and they make it happen. So it's really awesome.
Well, our team is your team. We're an expansion of your team. So anything you need, we're always going to be here. And I just want to really thank you both for being guests on the podcast, on the Builder Upper Show. I really appreciate it. And everybody that's watching this right now, make sure you send this to every municipality near you. Go send it to all of them so that they can actually reach out to Horseshoe Construction, bring them in, help them with the RFP process and get things moving. But yeah, everybody, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Thank you. If you're a construction contractor and would like to appear as a guest on our podcast, write us an email. It's lou@lumberfi.com.